Welcome to another episode of moTV. Tonight we are headed to moMondays Waterloo, and not just moMondays Waterloo. We are going moMondays Waterloo to the world. I'm saying this for a very important reason. You'll figure it out soon. We are going to moMondays Waterloo, so here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Grab a drink. This is my drink of choice, a bourbon, but you might prefer a beer, a wine, a cup of tea, a coffee, a glass of water, or whatever it is. Stick around. We will be right back with the show. All right, here we are, moMondays Waterloo with Don Callahan. How you doing?
I am doing wonderful, Michel. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So let me tell the world who you are, what you do, and why you're on the show tonight. You are 1/3 of what I call the Tres Amigos in Waterloo. You guys are doing such a great job, Leah, Gord, and yourselves. You have created a buzz for moMondays. I can't really say unlike no others because there have been a few that have been, have had a good buzz, but I got to tell you, you guys have done something very special. You've modeled it after your own personality, your own vision for moMondays, and I'm just blown away by the quality of speakers you've had, by your staging, by your everything, by the MC.
Well, yes, Michelle, thank you so much. You call us the Three Amigos. I think more like Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah,
Um,
you doing, Louie? Yep.
but you're right. It's been a wonderful. Well, we just hit 2 years old.
That's her. 2 years old. And so moMondays Waterloo has morphed a couple of times. It was moMondays Kitchener for a bit. Then it was moMondays Kitchener Waterloo. So for those of you who don't know who are watching this, uh, it's the Tri-City area, right?
Yes.
But it's
Yep.
really four. I don't get it. It's four cities, isn't it?
Well, we take in three. We take in Cambridge, Waterloo, and Kitchener, all under Waterloo region.
Right. Okay. And um, and so it's bounced around, but you guys said no. We want Waterloo.
We figured we needed to put down roots. We started 2 years ago at a small bar, and it just took off. It took off, and we were so impressed. We actually outgrew our venue, and we've had to relocate.
They're very cool. Don, take me back and take our viewers back to before. I guess it was Gord who first had the idea to bring moMondays to Waterloo. Yes.
Yes, I was. moMondays was new to me. Gord had been a friend for a fairly recent friend within a year or so. He helped me get a book published. Um, and he had invited me to see him speak at one of the other locations, moMondays Guelph. So that was really the first experience I had with moMondays. And I said, wow, this is something. This is touching me. It's in my heart. I got to see more. So I kept going. Each month we drive to Guelph, about a half hour, 40 minutes away. Um, and we just enjoyed it. We just enjoyed it. And then out of the blue, Gord and Leah mentioned to me, hey, we're thinking about this. We're thinking about doing this. So,
So for those people who, I mean, we always assume everybody knows what moMondays is, but listen, let's be honest. The truth is, most people don't know what moMondays is. How do you describe it to people who have never been?
it's interesting, and my descriptions have been getting better because we're always trying to promote. To me, it's inspired entertainment. Um,
Inspired entertainment. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we talk about entertainment, I think a lot of people think music. We've had an illusionist help out. We've had magicians help out. Um, we even had a bagpiper play one month, which was great. But that's just a small piece of a very big show. And it's people telling stories from the heart. Everyone's got a story to tell.
Everyone really has a story to tell, and you never know who in the audience you're going to touch.
Yes, absolutely. And every time we put on a show, we've kind of divvied up the roles. I'm partnered with Leah McFadyenn, Gord Melville, and myself. Gord's phenomenal at finding people willing to speak, because that's a big part of it. A lot of people are afraid to get on stage. Leah is great with finding musicians and the entertainment section. And I try to plug away with the social media and the marketing. And we pull it all together. The three of us get up on stage when we were able to have a live show, and we share the MC, which is great.
Yeah, no, I watch all the videos, as you know, and yeah, I'm always so impressed. I'm impressed with the. Well, first of all, let's go back. Like right behind your head right now, you've got the official moMondays sign. Real people, real stories, real inspiration. But even that, it kind of tells people a sense of what we're after. But even that doesn't really tell the whole, no pun intended, but story, because it's a blend. It's mostly It's mostly founded in personal storytelling. But as you said, there's a lot of music thrown in. And you sometimes you have bagpipes and illusionists and all kind. So inspired entertainment. I'm going to hold on to that. That just might be a headline or a tagline somewhere. What are some of the highlights that when you think back over 2 years, because it really, I think June makes it 2 years for you. So when you look back over the 2 years, highlights.
Oh my goodness. We have seen so many wonderful people tell so many wonderful stories that have affected so many people. It's a show like no other. Every show is unique in its own way. We've developed a really large, what I call our Mo community, of people that come back month after month after month. And they're there and they're bringing friends. It's neat because when the show is over, the show is not over. The lights are down and people are shuffling around, but no one wants to leave quite yet. And usually it's a late night by the time I get myself tucked in.
Well, but that's because nobody knows all the work that moHosts have to do.
Oh, that's true.
So you go home long after everybody else. What's that that song? I can't remember that song. But long after everybody leaves, the roadies go home, and like as moHosts, we're front stage, we're backstage, we're the roadies, we get the coffee, we do everything, right?
And I think that's important to acknowledge too, because I have to look at our spouses or significant others that time's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So give me an example of and I know you picked the speaker that we're going to bring on the show tonight. So aside from her, but give me an example. You've had really heartfelt speakers. You've had very intense speakers. You've also had very funny speakers. You've had very entertaining speakers. And I could say the same thing for the musicians you've had on stage. You've had very intense musicians, very personal musicians, very humorous music. You've had everything. But just when you look back over the 2 years, give me an example of somebody that sticks in your mind, somebody that maybe had a big impact in some way.
Oh boy, there has been so many that have impacted me. Each story, strikes a chord a little bit differently. There is one individual that I've brought with me as a guest tonight, and actually that's where I want to go. I knew nothing about this young lady until earlier in the month. We've been able, through the whole pandemic, we've been able to arrange to do a virtual little mini Mo's from
Don, I need to interrupt you just a little bit because I'm getting a message to say that your volume is low. And I'm wondering if there's anything you can do at your end to increase your volume.
Yeah. No, I just tried. My volume's up full. So I
Um,
don't know.
in Zoom, there's a setting that says um, automatically adjust volume. If you go to your advanced settings, and you have to turn it off, and just
Oh,
you see it.
no.
If you go to your Zoom settings, the preferences, then advanced. See, Zoom tries to adjust the volume the best way it knows how, but it doesn't know all the fancy stuff that we do. So thank you for for letting us know. Hey, if you are listening to this, then let us know where you are listening from. I would love to know where you're listening from and if you've been to a moMondays before. So in the Facebook chat, please let us know where you are coming in from. And hopefully yeah, people can't hear you.
Hmm.
Nothing I could do at my end. That's funny because we had the sound check. Let me see. You are on full for me. You are on
Yeah.
full for me. But anyway, I think you're just low, so people could hear you, but they need to stick their ears closer to the speakers if they can. So I apologize for that. Whoa, we've got people coming in from Quebec. Yes. People coming from Redondo Beach. Oh, I know that connection. You got people coming in from Redondo Beach being in, wait a minute, is that Florida or California? Vens, buddy. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. This is so cool. This is awesome. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And thank you for letting me know about the sound volume. So that'll be good. All right. Ooh, what is this? Ormstown, Quebec. Did I pronounce Ormstown, Quebec? I know I should wear my glasses, but I'm vain and I don't want my glasses on moTV. But yes. So Don, this is pretty cool. So give me an example of maybe an impact that you had, and talk loud if you can. Uh, Although if Zoom has the setting on automatically adjust settings, then it doesn't matter how loud it's gonna squash your sound. And Wolfville, people coming in from Wolfville. Yeah, Wolfville, Havelock, Quebec. We got people from all over North America so far. So this is so cool. So give me an example of somebody, a big impact you've had on maybe somebody in the audience,
An impact that I've had on
or
somebody.
that a show has had.
Wow. Every show is impactful. And it really depends on where you are in your station in life. We've had people, oh my goodness, really grow. Even the speakers afterwards have said, wow, I needed that. I learned so much more about myself coming from that. Um, to pick on a particular speaker is very difficult.
Yeah. All right. Well, I asked you to bring a speaker onto the show, and by the way, I made a couple of adjustments, um, so maybe that'll make a difference. We'll see. We'll see. I ask all the moHosts, is there a particular speaker that you want to bring on moTV? And I gotta say, that's like, it's always an unfair question. That's like asking a parents, which child do you love the most? Nobody. So, but I know that you had a show. Oh, well, this is what I wanted to talk about. You've you have probably done the most effective transition of any moMondays from a live show to a virtual show. So even before we get to the speaker that you're bringing on, tell me a little bit about what you did there and what's so exciting about that.
Sure, and that's really where we're having fun with the learning curve. We started using Zoom passing it straight through on Facebook for Facebook Lives. But we sat down and we figured here's an opportunity for us to pull speakers from all around the world. Those that wouldn't be able to make it to Waterloo to be on our live stage. And we started reaching out. A couple shows ago, I had a friend of mine who I haven't seen in probably 15 years. She joined us from Austria.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was an amazing show. We've had people throughout the United States. I know our viewership has grown exponentially, and we're coming in from the UK, from Australia. We've had people watch, so it's wonderful. We're using this opportunity to really find an audience, spread the moMonday brand globally, and have fun. Have fun. Sharing some inspiration.
So let's move on to our featured speaker and tell me who she is, and oh, there she is, like magic, she appeared. So I wanted Dawn to give you the bio and the intro. So Dawn, tell me why you picked Lexis.
Absolutely. So Lexis joined us recently this past month on one of our virtual shows. I knew nothing about Lexis going in. This is somebody that Gord had connected with, and I had the pleasure to introduce her. And as we go through the show, I find out that at a very young age, the ripe age of 19, here's somebody that is making change in the world, not just saying we need change. She's an advocate, and she's been making change, and that touched my heart. I spent a lot of time in third world type countries, giving of myself, and that really struck a chord with me. And when you had invited me, said pick somebody that's reached out, that's true to your heart, and right away in comes Lexis.
So welcome, Lexis. Lexis. Oh, see, Lexis is louder than Dawn. So if you're listening to this, please let us know if you could hear Lexis better now that she's on. So welcome to moTV.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Dawn.
Yeah, you are on the virtual version. Like, we normally don't get somebody on moTV who was just on last week. So this is kind of like, you must have had a big impact on people for Dawn to say, oh, we gotta have Lexis. We gotta have Lexis. So this is so cool. What was it like to be on moMondays? And I know it wasn't the live version of moMondays, but tell me what it was like for you.
It was honestly life-changing for me. We all have limiting beliefs about ourselves, and we create barriers for ourselves that don't actually exist. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. And some of us have mastered the skill of pushing through those barriers, and I am working on that actively. And it's been a week since my talk, and I'm still getting messages
Wow.
to this day.
So, okay, wait a minute. Now we got to back up a little bit to give people context. What was the talk about?
Right. So I am the founder of I Am Hechima, which is a nonprofit organization that I founded. How did that come about? When I was 19 years old, I took a 3-month volunteer trip to Kenya, and I was teaching in an orphanage. And when you arrive, it's like a movie scene. The kids are beautiful and dancing and singing and welcoming you. But my first journal entry when arriving at the orphanage that day was, I have a bad feeling about this place. And my gut is like my compass in life. A lot of us as empaths have that compass. And then I went, after that 3 months, I got accepted to University of Dalhousie in Nova Scotia. And so I left, and I promised the kids I would be back. And they're like, yeah. It's like, everybody says I'll come back. You know, the doors to this orphanage are like a revolving door because of volunteerism, and nobody ever does come back. So they took that with a grain of salt. But then I did go back. And the my gut feeling turned out to be true, because this institution that was meant to protect children was actually abusing them. And once the kids told me everything and confirmed all of these things to be true, the physical, sexual, psychological, emotional abuse that they were living at the hands of the owners of this orphanage, which, needless to say, had international and local support and so much money and such a powerful reputation behind them. And so it was very difficult, and it took, I was very soon kicked out of the orphanage because they said Lex's eyes are bigger than her mouth. And so I got kicked out, and then a few days later I got a phone call, and it was them, and they said, leave us alone or we will kill you. And at that point, I had every law enforcement officer and every government official in their back pocket, because money is very powerful. And so the price put on my head, I was chased and I was spied on, luckily by very terrible spies. So I always caught on to them before anything crazy actually happened. And in the meantime, I was rescuing children. I would hire a taxi with very tinted windows and make escape plans with the kids and a worker in the evenings and nighttime. And I would rescue kids at night and then bring them home. And be like, hey, leave me home. And when we got home, the story was always the same. It was always these owners came to recruit our children, promising them an education that they know we cannot afford. So that's when I Am Hishima was born. That's when the organization started, and our solution was simple: was providing children with an education to prevent child abuse and break cycles of poverty.
And Heshima stands. What is Heshima?
Heshima means respect, dignity, and honor in Swahili. So our leading principles are to respect humanity, lead with dignity, and honor your path.
Right. So listen, we're not going to go through the whole story here, but what I will suggest people do is they can, because it's all online, and they should go to moMondays Waterloo and check the video where they can hear your entire talk, which was fascinating. I watched part of it. I was riveted by everything that you did, went through, stood for, stand for, and continue to do. It's just unbelievable. But let me ask you something. Was that the first time you shared that story?
Yes, it was actually. I've done quite a few speaking engagements, but on a small scale. And within my I Am Hishima circle, I'm from a very small town, and we're 2,700 people. And so I do a lot of talks in my small town and around my small town to mobilize people and a lot of fundraising events and everything. However, it was my first virtual talk, and my first talk sharing my personal journey and the part of my story about my personal strife as the secondary effects to rescuing these kids and starting this organization and the struggles that it brought me.
Wow.
So it was the first time to share my complete story.
So I obviously, and Don will know this, Gord will know this, Leah will know this, every moHost knows this. Speakers, when either they apply or they get asked to share their story, everybody thinks, I know my story. And yet there's always stuff that they learn about themselves in the process leading up to sharing their story. What was your experience? Like, you know your story. What did you learn about yourself in the process of sharing your story that you weren't expecting, perhaps?
Right, so I'll break it down into 3 categories. So prior to my talk, Gord had asked me to speak, and I was like, how can I tell him no? How can I tell him no? And then I was like, Lexis, don't tell him no, tell him yes. So I did. And then shortly after, my son is 5 years old, and we got rushed to the hospital by ambulance a few days before the talk, and he had fever-induced seizures.
Oh.
And we were in the hospital for 2 days, and he had fever, so we were in like a COVID isolation room. And it was I was like in full on mom mode, you know, not in like moMondays top mode getting ready for it. I was in full on mom mode. And so it was very hard. And then, you know, we came home, I still had to monitor him. He was exhausted. So I didn't have any time really to prepare for my talk. And then 3 days later, I had to do this talk. So Saturday, Sunday were a few hours on Saturday and Sunday were my planning days. So going into it, I was still like, okay, how can I tell Don no? Like, how can I tell Don no? You know?
Still trying to get out of it.
Gord, how can I tell Gord no? And then I was like, you know, I look at my son and he's really sick beside me. And I was like, Lex, you need to be a role model and practice what you preach if you want people to follow you, right? And so I did it. So that was beforehand. And then during my talk, a few minutes before I spoke, I got up, I did my jumping jacks, I did my power pose, and I was like, yeah, you're a victorious woman. You got this. And
it's like what's her name? She took what's that singer? She takes on the persona of Sasha Fierce when she goes on stage. Somebody on Facebook land knows who I'm talking about. But she literally, she's shy. She puts on this persona of Sasha Fierce to perform. A big, huge star. Anyway, somebody who knows this, post it in the comments. All right. Or Google it.
Sometimes with mine. I wish I looked like her, though. But,
yeah.
So, yeah, and so when I started my talk, I did my jumping jacks, I did my power pose, and I was like, whew, okay, you're going to be all right. And, you know, the usual butterflies in the beginning. And about halfway through, I felt this surge and this power come on to me, of like this rush of like, Lexis, this is exactly what you were meant to do. And your message, I realized that my story doesn't actually matter.
Beyonce. Somebody just wrote Beyonce. That's right. Thank you. Aaron, for letting us know. That's right. It was Beyonce.
It is Beyonce. That's funny because I just said I feel like Beyonce sometimes when I make my power pose.
You see? Yeah.
And so that was during the talk. I had that huge revelation, and I just felt free. All these chains that I had put on myself, I just broke them, and it felt like freedom. And afterwards, I was sitting in my bathroom where I'm sitting now because it's the only room in the house with enough lighting.
And there's natural reverb.
Exactly, nice little echo. And so I was sitting in the bathroom, and my mom came up, and she just hugged me, and she had tears in her eyes, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you." And I went downstairs, and my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old foster son, they were like, "Oh, mama, good job, mama. Oh, mama." And I got so many messages like from friends and strangers alike, and they're still coming into this day. And it's crazy that when you have the courage to say F you to fear and knock on the doors, they just open. It's actually quite simple, but we make it so complicated.
Yeah.
And I think we all do that. And for me, that was a big revelation. And the past week of my life, I'm telling you, has been absolutely different and inspiring for me and very encouraging. And I asked people for a lot of constructive feedback, and I actually got a lot of constructive feedback to make myself even better.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, if people don't know this about me yet, they should know that, storytelling is my life. I believe that storytelling, real storytelling, not purely for entertainment, but storytelling that real people, real stories, real inspiration. It is the absolute most powerful thing most powerful communications tool that we have, not just to have an impact on other people, but through the process of storytelling, we learn about ourselves in ways that none of us ever expect. And that very often, kind of similar to what you're describing, is the big surprise for people. They don't realize just how powerful it is. They think, oh, I'm going to speak just for other people. That's not how it works. And that's half of it. But the other half is the stories we tell ourselves becomes our reality. That was bad grammar. I should have used plural. The stories we tell ourselves become our reality. Thank you. Thank you.
And I agree. And it's funny because this feeling of I am Hishima empowers 600 children now through education.
Unbelievable.
And empowerment is a big part of, well, in fact, it's all of what we do. And for the first time, I feel empowered and I feel in control of my own life. And so, you know, when the kids come to me, they're like, Lex, I feel empowered, you know, I feel I have control of my life. And now I know what that feels like. So it's magnified, you know, my mission, my life mission is just magnified and I can feel it and it's just amazing.
So to anybody who is thinking of sharing their story, maybe a little bit afraid, maybe a little excited, you know, like they're all, you know, the full spectrum, right? Do it. momondays.com/speak is where you put in your speaker application, and something interesting happens as soon as people put in their application. They say, oh, I'm not ready. Well, let me tell you, put your application in before you think you're ready, because something magical happens in here. Yeah? You know, you're nodding your head like this. Yeah. Something magical, and your back of your mind starts working on it. Let's shift gears a little bit, Lexis. And I want to thank you. I want you to stay on for a little bit. You haven't been to a live moMondays yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
But
and I was supposed to.
You were.
Leah had asked me, can you come to Waterloo? But I've been working in remote northern Quebec. So it's a flying community. It takes 13 hours to get to Montreal. Yes, still in the same province. So I was like, not yet. Maybe one day. And then COVID happened because it was going to happen this summer. So then Gord was like, okay, I want to go on next week. It's virtual. No excuses. Gord. And I was like, okay, Gord, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So no, I've never been to a live, but it's going to happen. I'm going.
It will happen. You know, we are
7-hour road trip, 8-hour road trip.
We are human beings. We need to be in physical proximity of each other. That's who we are. It's one of the reasons why moMondays. One of the reasons why moMondays was started in the first place. We needed people, like-minded people who care about this kind of stuff to get together. And another totally different form of storytelling is music. And it's interesting, when I started moMondays now over 8 years ago, I thought it would be strictly storytelling, and I didn't want to mix in music because I thought it would dilute the evening. But it was one of the moHosts, actually it was Stephanie in Winnipeg, who brought a musician on, and it was like, wow. This is just so amazing. It raised the level of the entertainment level of the night. It brought in another form of storytelling. So I don't want him to come on just yet. So I think what I would like to do is show a video of the featured musician. I will tell you, it's another Nova Scotia connection. And then sociable. We'll bring him on. And then we'll bring him on after his video so people will have a better idea. And then we'll talk about the video. And there's a huge, great story around this. Here we go. Daniel McFadyenn with Going Back to Wolfville, or Going Home.
I heard about a job down at a shipyard shoveling fish. Well, they called my name, so I gave them a ring. I haven't heard back since. You're stuck in dreams of South Dakota or maybe East LA, but I'm going back home to see my mom, and maybe I'll get paid. Back in Nova Scotia, where my heart grows twice the size. Well, we'll sit around in the old lit pub and grab a drink to pass the time. 'Cause late at night I hear the call of a small town by the sea, where that cider's always flowing, 'cause those apples grow like weeds. I'm going back to Waterloo, I'm going back out east. I'm going back to crystal skies and a tide that cuts the beach. I'm going back to Waterloo, I won't stop till I reach the sea. I'm going back to see my love, now I know she's coming back to me. I'm driving to the ocean, past the vineyards, past the vines. I'm coming up on Main Street, past that slow four-way stop sign. Yeah, and if you need your car fixed, well, my buddy, he knows a guy. But get ready for a phone call if he ever needs a ride. I'm going back to Waterloo, I'm going back out east. I'm going back to crystal skies and a tide that cuts the beach. I'm going back to Waterloo, I won't stop till I reach the sea. I'm going back to see my love, now I know she's coming back to me. Gas road skies have that rusty old train line running through my mind, running through my mind. Going back to Waterloo, I'm going back out east. I'm going back to crystal skies and a tide that cuts the beach. I'm going back in summer, through the orchards and the trees. Well, take me down the 101, land of sweet Evangeline. I'm going back to Waterloo, going back out east. Going back to crystal skies and the tide that cuts the beach. I'm going back to Waterloo, I won't stop till I reach the sea. I'm going back to see my love, and now I know she's coming back to me. I'm going back to see my love, now I know she's coming back to me. One more time. Going back to see my love, now I know she's coming back to me.
Daniel,
Hello.
hey, welcome to moTV.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
What was that like watching your video?
There was a little bit of a little bit of sadness, wishing that I was there right now. Especially since Nova Scotia is kind of opening back up, and I see a lot of the friends I haven't seen in a while. I'm here in Ontario right now. Living with my sister and my brother-in-law, which is great. I'm having a good time and doing some work here until kind of things settle down a bit, and then I'm heading back there. So I haven't seen that video in quite a long time, so it's quite cool.
Quite cool.
Back and seeing some of my friends.
So tell, like, okay, moMondays is different from your standard issue bar gig, right? We want to know the story behind the song. So did I pick it up? You were living in LA at the time?
Oh no, I was living in. I was traveling around the world for 9 months after graduating from Acadia University in Wolfville, and at the time I thought I wanted to go around and kind of maybe move somewhere else, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I started to really kind of miss the town and miss the community that I had been living in, and I made the decision to move back to Wolfville to finally become a full-time musician, because before that I just kind of played on the side. And so it was always my dream to kind of do music full time. I moved back to the town, and that was one of the first projects I worked on. And been kind of playing gigs there since, and living out my dream in the small town of Wolfville, Nova Scotia.
Amazing. Well, of course, and Nova Scotia is not a big population. Wolfville is a even smaller population, but I bet if it's like the rest of Nova Scotia, like there's so many great musicians.
Yeah, I'm a part of a really great community of lots of musicians, and everybody's really supportive of each other. And the thing is, it doesn't seem like a professional musician versus somebody who just kind of strums around. They're kind of on a level playing field there, and there's open mics where amazing musicians who have been playing for 10, 15 years come and play in a band from Halifax. Or from other places in the valley, and at the same night you'll have somebody who the first time they're ever performing, it's really cool. Because I remember being 14 years old, coming to visit my sister when she was at Acadia, and watching people at the open mic being like, wow, one day I really want to play at that thing. And it's been I've been playing there ever since at Patty's on a Monday night in Wolfville.
Yeah, well, it's a great music culture. All the entire province. The entire province. I did a motorcycle tour, did the whole South Shore, went all the way to, the end. What's that town at the end where the ferry is?
Digby?
No, the
Pyramid?
pointy. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And there was a music festival there, and yeah, it's just like everywhere we stopped, I made great friends, and I brought my ukulele on the back of my motorcycle because I never leave home without it. And I dropped into some open mics, and I got invited up, and yeah, it was just such great people. They say you meet the nicest people at moMondays, and I have to say you meet the nicest people in Nova Scotia. It's very cool. So did that song just pour out of you, or did you craft it, work it? Did you have an idea? Tell me about that.
It started because I played at a place called the Library. Well, I'll start kind of a little bit further back. So the first time I came to the Valley in Nova Scotia, I was 14 years old, and my sister was going to Acadia University, and she wanted to kind of take me out on a Saturday night, but I was too young to go to any bars. But her boyfriend was working at a bouncer for the student bar.
Shh! Don't tell! Don't tell!
I'm getting to the point where I can now. He boosted me over the back fence, and that was kind of my first time in a bar at 14 years old, and I was like, and there was all these, like girls and all this, and I didn't apply to any other school except for Acadia. And
was it the girls or was it the music?
First the girls, and
yeah.
then the music came after. And then my second trip there was when I went to Patty's open mic in Wolfville, and the music, I saw this band play, and it was amazing, and I got to talk to them after, and I thought it was so cool how close you could be to the band, because I had been to like many concerts before, and I really fell in love with the place. Took every opportunity I could to go back there. Only applied to Acadia University, and I've been living on the East Coast pretty much since.
Well, I got to tell you, watching that video, and I've now seen it about 4 times, and like I just can't. My face starts smiling. Yeah. It's not a conscious thing. My face starts smiling. It's just it's a nice tune. Don was telling me the guy in the graveyard is the guy who does the ghost tours. Yeah.
Walks on Thursdays, and the video it came about in a really cool way too, where I approached somebody with the town of Wolfville about an idea to record a song about Wolfville, and it's just I think Wolfville is one of the only towns that I've been to where I can just go hang out with the mayor or go talk to these guys, and they were so willing to put the video together and kind of take the chance of helping me out with the video and working with my friends.
Well, that your typical musician humbleness. Yeah. I think you helped them out.
Yeah, in the end, I think it was definitely a mutually beneficial relationship we struck up, and it got some good publicity for the town. I think it ended up getting 110,000 views from people sharing it around. I got so many messages about people saying how much they missed the East Coast. either having to move away for work or moving away after university. So the feedback from it was amazing. Worked with a buddy of mine named Wes Booth to create that video, and he's a huge proponent of kind of trying to do it in Wolfville and living in a town. So it was a great, really great experience making that video.
Well, most of your gigs, are they at kind of like bars where you need to talk over people drinking?
No, it's getting less and less there. That clip from the end of that video is from a place called the Library Pub, and that's one of the few bars that I still play at, or when COVID didn't happen, was playing at, and I hope to play there when I go back to Nova Scotia. It's a really fun time, and I don't find I have to really talk over people anymore. It's kind of going away from that. I've been doing a lot of ticketed shows in the last 6 or so months, and those have been going really well too, kind of just listening lounge style shows. So it's a mix, but I kind of take what I can get because I love playing so much. So any opportunity.
Very cool. Very cool. So I think Lexis wants to get back in. She dropped out, and we're gonna bring her back later. But we're gonna bring her back. We're gonna bring everybody back. We're gonna go back to moTV, just like going back home to Wolfville. So that's very cool. But you know what? There she is, and let's get Don back in too. There he is. Awesome, guys. What was it like when you were, I mean, Lexis, you've got Nova Scotia in your, not blood, but it's in your blood now.
It is.
Yeah. Don, you've got Nova Scotia in your blood.
Absolutely, born and raised there.
Yeah, very cool. So once again, I want to thank you, Don, for putting your stamp on moMondays in such a beautiful way. Just the people that you've asked on. Lexis, an amazing story. Daniel, just phenomenal musician, great storytelling through music. Let me, Don, I'd like to close off with this question that is really just for you. As moHosts, people know that, I say, I've got the best seat in the house. We watch, we pick the speakers ahead of time. We walk with them to the stage. I'm talking about, holding their hand sometimes weeks before. And sometimes in Lexis's case, it's when they say they're trying to think of a way to say no. And we're walking with them and we're holding their hand. We see them on the stage. We walk them off the stage literally, and we see the impact that they have in the audience. And we hear all that feedback after. And, we think, we're doing such a great thing for the community. And we are. But sometimes we have to pause and remember that, we have as much of an impact on ourselves through moMondays as anything else. So let me ask you this. Has being a moHost of moMondays changed you, Mr. Don Callahan?
Oh my goodness, Michel. Has it ever? Like I mentioned before, we're 2 years strong coming in. And I can't see not being part of moMondays. It has allowed me really to look within myself, find the qualities that I see with the people that are on stage, and try to reflect those qualities. It's just truly inspirational. And the two guests that I brought on, I really have to thank them. I know we had talked a little bit off camera about Daniel was supposed to be doing a cross-Canada tour. Obviously, with COVID, that got stopped. But, when people speak from the heart, when their intention is from the heart, everything is perfect. Daniel did a Nova Scotia Strong online concert to raise funds for the tragedies that just seemed back to back on the small province. And with Lexis, the first time I heard her story was just a week or so ago, and I threw a challenge out to the Mo community. I threw a challenge out to help donate, to help keep that going, and I put a big dollar tag on it. My goal is to help promote her up to $5,000 in donations just from our Mo community. So I know it's kind of a shameless plug, but these are two upstanding individuals that I am honored to have shared the stage with. So thank you to the guests. Thank you, Michel, for putting it on.
Well, this, I think, this I mentioned earlier, we need a space for like-minded people to get together. And it's hard to define what would exactly we mean by like-minded people. But again, I'm going to go back to Winnipeg and mention something that Stephanie said. Stephanie was moHost of moMondays Winnipeg for a long, long time before she moved out to Vancouver Island. Lucky her. And but she said, when it comes to entertainment, there's only certain, so many movies you could go to. Do we still want to go to bars and hear loud music? Well, sometimes not as much. Can we go? How many times could we go out for dinner or movies or all of that stuff? And it says there really isn't a form of entertainment that appeals to, the more, I don't want to use the word enlightened, but the people who are a little bit more, somebody help me out. What's the word I'm looking for? More thinking, more sensitive, more human-based, more, want something more than just superficial entertainment. But that doesn't mean we don't want to be entertained. It doesn't mean we just want to go to a place where people share their stories and everybody has to cry. It's not, we can laugh, we can hug when there's no COVID. We can have fun and blend it all together into one night. And that's what, I'm going to go back to something you said, Don. Inspired entertainment. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, Lexis, Daniel, I want to thank you guys for being on the show. If there's anything else you want to say, now's your time.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, thanks again.
And love that initiative. I'm sorry, I meant to ask you about that initiative you're doing for the...
Oh, that's okay. No, that's just great. Yeah, it worked out really well and everything. Thanks, Don, again.
Yeah. How can people find out more about that?
So that's over. I ended up raising about $1,500 for Red Cross for Nova Scotia Strong. But in the next couple of weeks, I'm planning on doing another benefit concert, so I can kind of keep you guys posted.
Well, do you have a link or a URL that people could put in the chat box like right now?
I haven't set it up yet, but if you just follow me on Facebook under Daniel James McFadyenn, I'll definitely post everything there.
Awesome. And Lexis, how can people find out more about you?
Anybody who wants to connect with me personally, my name is Lexis Beattie on Facebook, and the name of my organization is I Am Hishima.
I Am Hishima.
My friend already has posted on the comments, but I will put it again. So Facebook, I Am Hishima, Instagram, I Am Hishima Gord, and yes.
All right. So you know what? Your audio is breaking up, Lexis. Your audio is breaking up, so I'm going to suggest you put it in the chat box, or maybe one of your fans. There we go. I think, are you related to this person called Tammy? She just put it in. Thank you, Tammy, for doing that. Don, thank you very much. In a couple of weeks, or maybe next week, I have to check the schedule. We are going to one of the sister cities in the Quad City area. We're going to Guelph. We're going back to Guelph. And so I want to thank everybody for being here on moTV, sticking around, and you know what? Come back next week. We're going to have another good time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.